$15 per item. Yes, it's not clickbait, it is true. Redbubble have introduced 2 new items. We've got backpacks and duffel bags. Now, if you look here at the top, you can see that there's only 11,000 results for backpacks. And we've got 10,000 results for duffel bags, which is amazing when you compare it to something like men's t-shirts, which has over 110,000 results. And the reason being is because these are new products. They're not enabled by default in someone's portfolio. You have to go in there and enable them. So not only have we got a really high profit item of $15 per sale, but we've also got not much competition because people aren't designing for these yet and they haven't enabled them by default in their portfolio. This is the gold standard, what we want: high profit with low competition. Perfect. And we haven't even put a niche in yet. This is just all backpacks. So if you get a keyword that you've made designs for and narrow that down, put in backpacks as well and see what's on there, there's probably even less competition than that, so that's great. Just show you on the pricing details where I got that $15 from, because these are actually priced quite conservatively in my opinion. So we've got the backpack here and you can see the profit margin's $15 and I put the markup as only 35%. Duffel bag similar, $13 to $16. So you could, in theory, if you wanted, change the markup to be, say, $100, and you would be getting a lot more profit, so $43, but you've got to consider, would someone actually pay that? I think 35 is a pretty safe bet in terms of getting people to pay for it. I think $65. I know that seems expensive for a backpack, but they're actually quite expensive on Redbubble to begin with because they use sublimation print, which means that the print goes all over the backpack and it looks really good when it's done right. So you can see here just some tips for you. This is all over print, this is same, and I'll show you what they've done, because when you go to add work in your profile, this is what yours will look like when you go onto it. If you've got an existing product, you'll see that these are new, coming soon. By default, they are disabled, so you've got to go and enable them. And by the way, don't worry about this fox, it's just an image I've saved off Google. It's not my design, and I'm not going to be using it. So when you enable it, what most people will do if they've got a simple design like this is see all these different boxes and think, I don't know what to do, where do I put this? Obviously you can just leave it there, or do I have it in between the straps or whatever? It's likely that people choose the easiest option, which is to go to the pattern, click offset grid and just scale the image down so it looks good on the product like this. And that's exactly what they've done here on backpacks. You can see they've done it on this one, this one, this one, and I've had a look through them and it's all quite similar. It's quite an easy thing to do. Either that or they'll just put it on the front of the backpack there. And what they've done is, I'll show you on here, no pattern. They've just put the image there. So the customer, despite it being sublimation and they can get a print all over this, they only get it in one specific area, but they still pay the same price. So in my opinion, that's not good value for money, and it's really easy to stand out among the competition if you actually design specifically for the backpack. And I have a template just for you. So if you look in the description, I'll put the link there for the template, and it looks a little bit like this. In fact, it looks exactly like this. So this is what it'll look like in Photoshop. All you'll need to do is get your design in there, just do a new layer, and then you will be able to drag your elements on top of this and hopefully create something that looks nice. And I'll show you an example of one that does look nice, which is this one. So you can see that they've made sure that everything fits in nicely, and they've made sure that all their design elements cover the bag, and this is what it would look like in Photoshop. They've laid it out really nicely, and it's too early to say, but given my experience on Redbubble, I think this will sell more than something where they've just put one image in the zipper in the front pocket area like that. It's a similar story. I'll just close the backpack. I mean, you can do that. I'm not saying don't do that, but it's just, if you want to design specifically for backpacks, I think you'll have more of a chance of catching someone's eye and people thinking, I'm willing to pay $60, whatever it is, for this, because it looks really good and it's clearly designed for that product rather than just being put on. Duffel bags then, similar situation in that a lot of people will just put their design on like this in the middle, or they will scatter it throughout. And you can do that, it's absolutely fine, there's nothing wrong with it. I just think you'll have more success if you design specifically for it. What happens with duffel bags is it flips the image so you can see it there. If you want it on the other side, it actually puts the image upside down. So that's something that you need to bear in mind when you're designing. And of course, you can have it, make it a bit bigger. You can have it there as well. But these are all design elements because they use sublimation print. You can have it there, there, there. You can have it all over. And just bear in mind that that is a mesh there for them to put their stuff in. So you can still have a design there. You've just got to be aware it'll be covered by mesh. And you can actually use that to your advantage. So you could have part of your element popping out there so it actually fits with the design rather than being underneath it. So if you remember a while back, it was really popular for people to have t-shirts with little pockets on, stuff popping out the pockets, kind of like that. Backpack, similar again, you can play with the design elements so you could fit something specifically to do with a zipper. So for example, someone's head there, so when you zip off, it's like cutting their head open. I don't know, maybe a zombie related design where you pull the zipper open and it's like you're able to open their head, if you know what I mean. So in Photoshop then, this is what it looks like for the backpack template. So we've got the face, they call it the face of the backpack. It looks like this. I'll just zoom in and show you. So face, A1 and C1 there, and it goes all the way down. You also get strips here. So this is the main bit of the backpack, the front pocket, the top pocket, and then you've got the side panels there and the bottom panel. It will all become clear to you. It's not as confusing as it looks, I promise. And the duffel bag template looks like this. So you've got the circular sides, and then on here you've got the mesh pouch, and then the two top bits. So the top one there is right way up, and the other one is flips it, so that when they print it, it comes out the right way. But you've just got to bear in mind that if you have two design elements that look the same, don't put them the same way. One of them has to be flipped upside down because of the way that it prints. So you can simply go into your portfolio and enable these, mess about with the design so it looks right, or you can specifically download your existing design and edit it on the template to make sure that it fits really nicely, which is what I would recommend doing. So all the links will be in the description. What I would also recommend, I'll put the links to these in the description as well, to the backpacks and the duffel bags, so you can just have a look through and just think to yourself about your existing designs. Would the people that you target, your target market, that demographic, why would they be using a backpack? For what reason? Why would they be using a duffel bag? So thinking things like going out, sports, gym, skating, hobbies, stuff outdoors. Possibly even work as well, and what would they want on it? Is your design appropriate for a backpack? To be honest, most of them would be, I would think. You can specifically tailor your backpack and duffel bag designs for the people that you have in mind who's going to buy it, but always be thinking, who is the target demographic? Who's going to buy this? And what would they want? What would they want out of the backpack? What do they want it to look like? What do they want that to say about themselves? And do you take advantage of the sublimation print? It's a really cool feature. So take the time to tailor it to your product, and I'm sure that will pay off. But really, there's no better time to get in with the backpacks and duffel bags now because there's so little competition and the profit margins are really high. So that's my advice. The other things that are going to be coming up on Redbubble aren't actually available yet, but you can still do your designs for, are aprons and jigsaw puzzles. So these are coming soon. They're not out yet. I'll probably do a video on them when they are out, but it's something to consider because these kind of things end up getting ignored. It's just one of those things where as you're going down, you think, yeah, enable. But t-shirts are such a popular item on print on demand that often people don't think of the other things. And there is a lot of money to be made in these categories because people do just enable it and leave it at that. They don't really think about it much. So if you think specifically about your demographic, who would be wearing an apron and why? Who would be completing a jigsaw puzzle and why? What would they want out of it? Don't just get your design element and enable it and then forget about it like that. Clearly that's not going to make a good jigsaw unless you really want extreme difficulty with whiteness all around it. But yeah, those are some things to consider. Definitely download the resources in the description for backpacks and duffel bags and either enable or adapt your existing designs to meet this growing market.